The Book of Genesis, Bereshit, Chapter 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim was moving. And Elohim said, "Let light come to be." And light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light, saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuwah was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahuwah said, "I am going to wipe off man, whom I created from the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature, and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them." But Noach found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah. This is the genealogy of Noach. And Yahuwah said to Noach, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the clean beasts, take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean, 2. And all the earth had one language and one speech. And it came to be as they set out from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build a city and a tower, whose top is in the heavens, and make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth." Then Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And Yahuwah said, "Look, they are one people, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. And now they are not going to be withheld from doing whatever they plan to do. Come, let us go there and confuse their language so that they do not understand one another." After these events, the word of Yahuwah came to Abram in a vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield. Your reward is exceedingly great." And see, the word of Yahuwah came to him, saying, "This one is not your heir, but he who comes from your own body is your heir." And he brought him outside and said, "Look now toward the heavens, and count the stars if you are able to count them." And he said to him, "So are your seed." And he believed in Yahuwah, and he reckoned it to him for righteousness. And he said to him, "I am Yahuwah, who brought you out of Ur-Kasdim to give you this land to inherit." Her presence. And the messenger of Yahuwah found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's female servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" And she said, "I am fleeing from the presence." And afterward his brother came out with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. And Yitzhak was 60 years old when she bore them. And the boys grew up, and Esau became a man knowing how to hunt, a man of the field, while Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. And Yitzhak loved Esau because he ate of his wild game, but Rivkah loved Jacob. And Yahuwah saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, "For Yahuwah has looked on my affliction, because now my husband is going to love me." And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Because Yahuwah has heard that I am unloved, he gave me this son too." And she called his name Shimon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, "Letting you go until you have blessed me." So he asked him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name is no longer Jacob, but Yisrael, because you have striven with Elohim and with men, and have overcome." And Jacob asked him, saying, And Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojourning, in the land of Canaan. This is the genealogy of Jacob. Yosef, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers. But remember me when it is well with you, and please show loving commitment to me, and mention me to Pharaoh, and get me out of this house. For truly I was stolen away from the land of the Hebrews, and also I have done naught that they should put me into the dungeon. And when they came near, he said, I am Yosef, your brother, whom you sold into Mitzrayim. And now do not be grieved nor displeased with yourselves, because you sold me here. For Elohim sent me before you to preserve life, nor harvesting. And Elohim sent me before you to preserve for you a remnant in the earth, and to give life to you by a great escape. So then you did not send me here, but Elohim. And Israel said to Yosef, I had not thought to see your face, but see, Elohim has also shown me your seed. So Yosef brought them from between his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Yosef took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Yisrael's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand toward Yisrael's right hand.